Are you going to provide them with premium service? If so, how are you going to do that? Communicate that to the client so that they know specifically when they hire you, your standard level of service and care is such and such. And that's exactly why they should pay you more money to do it, to protect their interests. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to In the House podcast. I'm Toni Singh.
And I'm Jenny Woon.
This is the show where we explore the fascinating world of real estate and how to succeed in this competitive industry. Today, we're diving into a topic that is absolutely essential for real estate professionals, and it's the power of a strong personal brand and how it can help you enable you to charge more for your services.
Ooh, I like that.
I know, we both like that. And so whether you're a seasoned agent or starting your career in the real estate industry, this episode is for you.
Well, you and I know how important personal branding is. Your branding is real people. What is it? What's the phrase?
I mean, if you don't remember it, it's not that great of the branding. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. So it was funny. It's it's Bel Air Realty Group. But for the blog, it's Real Estate with Real People.
Real Estate with Real
Looking
People.
back, it should have been Real Estate for Real People, but that name was taken.
Oh, you've actually trademarked it.
We have it, but we don't do any. It's for the blog. It was just like, how can we convey what we do in real estate in a real way that's not staged? How do we portray authenticity and something that's real? So that's how that came into being.
And obviously, it's not just about the logo or a catchy slogan. It's all about how it can be backed up with trust, with reputation, with your market knowledge coming to the table. And so when clients are in the market looking for a real estate professional, they're just not looking for someone to facilitate the transaction. They're actually asking you to be their trusted advisor to handhold them and guide them through one of life's most significant decisions that they're ever going to make in their life. And that's buying or selling a home.
Yeah.
And so a well-established brand helps build trust and credibility. And that's obviously from the surface because your personal brand is exposed on all your marketing material. Anything that is moving, that's a bus bench that is stationary. It's on your feature sheets. It could be on a logo on your sweater or a jacket. And so being that the omnipresence of that brand, what does that stand, right? What do you stand for?
Yeah. And what do people associate with that? First impressions are key. So you talked about trust and credibility. Do we want to expand upon that, or do we want to go into differentiation?
I think one thing I want to just add about the trust and credibility is it's a long game process. And so just remember, when you get started in the business, it's great that, you have the nice colors, you have a well-balanced logo, but what is behind that is really important.
You're absolutely right. It's like the great personal branding and can get someone in the door, but if you don't have the back end to back up what the brand is, like in terms of the trust and credibility, and this is what we do and we can deliver, you're not going to be able to maintain long-term clients or referrals.
And just remember, it takes years, decades to build a trustworthy brand, but it takes seconds for, the cancel culture. It can take seconds for someone to knock your reputation out of the game.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't believe in cancel culture, but yes, that is how things work these days,
real.
Huh?
Yeah.
Differentiation. So we did touch upon, and you guys know this, that the real estate industry is highly competitive. There are literally thousands and thousands of agents in a given area, especially if you're in a metropolitan city like Vancouver, surrounding areas. And so how can you set yourself apart from all of those thousands of agent competitors. Really, it's what makes you unique and memorable. So what actually makes you different? Jenny, as we're talking about this, I think I realize now why I dislike TikTok.
And
I'm going to draw a parallel because when I've watched it before, it's like the same creation of something that someone's already created. Do you know what I'm like?
yeah,
It's
it's
like the
just
same thing. It's
recycling it.
repetitive and
Yeah.
recyclable. And so I think that if you really want to differentiate yourself and find your ideal clients, you need to speak for something and stand for something authentic to you,
Mhm.
and then you'll really shine. And we've seen this time and time again with other great real estate professionals in the industry. They each have their own differentiated method or something, a characteristic about themselves that makes them special and allows them to connect with their community.
Mhm. And so where are you in your business with your brand? How are you standing out in comparison to competition?
So do you mean after they've become a client? Because we're not talking about branding, right?
No, we're talking about, like, let's just say someone does not, okay,
Okay.
someone is interviewing a couple of agents,
Mhm.
and you are trying to stand out amongst the other ones that they're interviewing. How would you differentiate yourself?
So it comes up a lot in the conversations. It's not about telling the clients, but it would be knowledge, experience, and customer service. And the way that we portray that at our first initial meeting is through how we present the materials and how we answer their questions,
Okay.
right? But yeah, if we were going to give it an identifying word, I would choose those ones. And I think it's pretty evident in the presentation. Um, I can give an example. One of our most recent clients that reached out to us from our branding has now become one of my new favorite clients. Like, we have a bunch of favorite clients, those clients that you're aligned with on many levels, not just how you interact in a business sense, but just they're great people. They work the same way, efficient, effective, all of that kind of stuff, very organized.
Mhm.
And so this gentleman found us from our branding, did some research on us to make sure that we've been selling real estate for a while. When we went on the first appointment, it was the initial first meeting. And when we took him through the paperwork, I think that if you're explaining things in a certain way and matching to their personality style as well, it's pretty evident what your competitive advantage or differentiation is.
Mhm.
So through going through the presentation, you can show them that you're knowledgeable. You could show that client that you have excellent customer service, do what you say when you're going to do it and deliver, and that you have excellent negotiation skills. I don't know if that's a clear example, but it's just something that happened recently where, because you asked. You asked. So personal branding brought them in. We were able to sign the contract. The place is now sold, but it's a process.
Mhm. Your process. Okay.
And you
That's
got to
what, yeah.
build the credibility
Right.
throughout
So
that
that's
process.
a specific name of a program or a process that you have presented to them that they felt comfortable enough to decide to work with you.
I think it's the same with most clients.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think for me, where have always stood out is I've been always connecting with like the Burnaby Board of Trades
Yeah,
or
you're excellent at that.
Urban Development Institute or
Mhm.
even getting involved with Blockwatch. And so by volunteering for like Strata Council,
Mhm.
it allows me to show that I have a bigger knowledge than just the market itself.
Oh, for sure.
You know,
You're actually, you do a great job at being involved with your community.
yeah,
You do.
I guess I've never seen it that way. It's
Yes.
more just like it's just for me to build a bigger knowledge base for myself.
Yeah, I think it credits you though, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it helps
guess
your
I
guys'
do a little
business.
bit of extra here and there, just a little bit. um, so yeah, one way to set yourself up is just one thing I also want to add is
Mhm.
I sponsored a water fountain at the corner of Willington and Parker. And that was just my way of giving back
Oh my
to,
gosh, wait, I know this fountain.
yeah,
Is it on the northeast side of the street?
it
Or is it a different
is
one?
on the southeast corner of the street
Okay.
where there's a big
That's the one from the city, right?
there.
Yeah. Vertical playground
I think so.
or something like
yeah.
that.
So anyways, it's at that corner and I wanted to donate and give back to the city for building the Willingdon Greenway. And I have my name on the plaque, and that's just another way for me to be, again, different and stand out.
I'm going to go buy that plaque and use it.
I don't know when the last time someone drank out of that.
It will be me. We can take a picture.
Yes, take a picture of it next time. But yeah, another way to improve and boost your average sales commission is to also be really strong in your expertise and authority in relating that to your personal brand as well. So positioning yourself as the expert or the specialist in that area or a particular niche, which allows you to feel like there's a premium to using you.
We talked about this in some of our other episodes for new agents that are just getting started and maybe they don't know their niche yet. How, just to revisit it, how do you recommend that they figure that out? Right? Because they're going to be taking on a whole bunch of different types of clients and product.
Okay. All you really need to do is know who you are.
Perfect
answer. I think
it's good.
People, I feel like they're just trying to go through this traffic.
Yes.
And I'm like, well, just
pick
figure
one.
out who you are.
And it's easy.
And then it's easy because then you'll just connect organically with the people that you want to work with. And I would say, like, if you know you are wanting to work in a luxury market, then you label yourself as a luxury market and you act like you work in the luxury market. Like, literally,
say what you are.
right?
We talked about this earlier.
Like, for example, you want to work in the luxury market in Vancouver.
I actually don't know.
Tell me what is the dollar amount that that people would perceive you as working in the luxury market?
In Vancouver?
In Vancouver.
Oh, like
give me a dollar amount.
Vancouver wide, because in East Van 3.5 is considered luxury.
Okay.
But in Van West 3.5 is not. It's kind of like a starter-ish home.
Right. Okay, so this proves my point is you can call yourself a luxury real estate agent, but work in East Van or work in Burnaby. The price point for an agent in West Vancouver, luxury could be $6 million.
Yeah, I was going to say it's at least 5.5.
Honestly, just stamp
it,
the name
do it
above your
I like it.
headshot and go with it.
This is good advice, guys.
And then
We're riffing here.
You've upped your transaction dollar.
For sure. And that's what this episode is about. Right. Personal branding and increasing your profits.
Yes. So now we've established why personal brand is crucial. Let's discuss how to build one.
I love this part.
Do this all the time.
Let's give them the points, the tidbits, the important stuff. Yeah.
Okay, so first of all, USP, what does that stand for? Unique selling proposition. What sets you apart from other agents? We talked about this. Identifying your strengths, identifying your specialties, what you can offer that no one else can. So for me, what I can offer is a team of 6 agents where we speak at least 4 different languages.
That's amazing.
The unique selling proposition is that we can manage to communicate in a win-win conflict resolution situation because we know how to work with other buyers and sellers from different cultural backgrounds.
Does this come up often on your listing presentation?
Many USPs.
Yeah, that's amazing. Do people actually ask?
Comes up. Yeah, it definitely comes up because, well, didn't you just get a text saying, hey, like, what do Asian buyers want to see in the home? And so would that developer ask another agent that doesn't speak?
He's messaging Cantonese and calling me all the time.
Right? They're asking for your opinion because you have a specific way of looking at what people like to see.
True.
So I would say another unique selling proposition is understanding construction by me going to, getting certified in construction technology with BCIT. By having that certificate and going through a 2 to 3 year program, it allows me to understand the process a developer goes through when they are considering assembling a piece of land.
Yeah, and you're speaking intelligently to it, right? They would understand that you get them and costs associated with costs.
Right.
So another way to establish building a strong personal brand is consistency. So important. You have to be consistent on all of the touch points. As Jenny mentioned, your personal branding should be on every single marketing material that you guys put out there, whether it's hard copy, digital, website, social media, all of that. And business cards, signage, it has to be everywhere and it has to be consistent so that people can identify it right away.
Yeah. It doesn't need to, sometimes if it looks too perfect, everybody will. I feel like there's a balance between just having organic, being like making organic videos and getting it out there. We talked about being in a luxury market. So if you're going to hit the luxury market, then your branding will need to have specific colors and text and a style that will speak to luxury purchasers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And same thing, if you're working with maybe people who are in the tech business, maybe that's your avatar client. Perhaps your videos would incorporate a bit of cool technology or tools that you're using within the videos.
Yeah, that's a really good tip.
Right. And so just being consistent with all the assets across the board with all your marketing materials. Content marketing. You and I have been putting out a lot of content for over a decade and a half, right?
Yeah.
And, the funny thing is that I started in this business where we didn't have any social media.
Right? No.
I was like putting a small 2x4 ad in the paper with 3 lines.
That's how it used to be done. That's how you would reach people.
It was black and white back then. So content marketing is really you positioning yourself with omnipresence and relevance to your targeted audience and connecting with your potential clients by providing content that is valuable for them. And even we had this chat with REW where it's about storytelling. It's about real life issues or real issues where the material is not repeated.
Yeah. I love that episode. You guys should check out that episode. Testimonials and reviews. I mean, we've talked about this so many times. You guys know, but we're going to reiterate it here. Encouraging your ideal clients or clients that are incredibly happy with the work that you've done for them, encouraging them to leave you reviews and testimonials, because that third party, right, who's experienced your services directly really showcase and speaks to your skills, reliability, professionalism. I just love testimonials and reviews. I appreciate them more and more, I think.
And the more you are able to get your clients doing a testimonial by video or by audio, or even taking a photo and then having them leave a quote, I think that really does add another layer of a real case study that it's something that
like they're real
coming
people,
from
directly
from them,
a face to a name,
right? Exactly. And finally, another item that will help you set yourself apart from your competition is building relationships with professionals that will boost your credibility. So being affiliated with the right memberships, the right associations, I think as well, people like to hang out with people that they like. So
I can speak to this. I attended Jenny and Oquin's Woo event. When was it? 2 weeks ago? Last week? Last week. Wow. Time flies. And the main purpose of me being there is because I like all of you guys.
I thought it was because you like me.
Of course, because you invited me. But do you know what I'm saying? It's being within that community. And I was networking for sure. I mean, for me, because you guys are a separate company, right? It's not going to, I didn't go to relate it to referrals or anything because that's not what I'm looking for. But in terms of networking and building community and being with like-minded, awesome professionals, I really enjoyed that.
I appreciate that.
Of course.
Thank you for coming. Well, let's get to the heart of the matter.
Okay.
Because having a strong personal brand is all great. but how does it enable you to charge more for your services? So the purpose of this podcast is, number one, how are you going to increase your average commission per deal, which will then increase your gross commission, which will then allow you to free up your time, which will then also allow you to expand on your resources by hiring more people to add to your team. So all of this really does enhance the wealth of the business.
I mean, something really important that goes along with, if you're going to charge more for your services, for example, right? And this is so key, is the perceived value of your clients. So what I mean by that is, it's not actually always about what you do, right? Or it's about how the client perceives what you do for them. And this is really important, right? Because if you can, so for example, let's give a concrete example. In some of the really, really busy markets where, in the past you list something, you show it maybe at one open house, it sells in multiple offers. If you're the client, how is the client perceiving the services that you've brought to them? On one hand, I mean, there's a variety of things that can come into play here, but on one hand, if the client just thinks or perceives that you signed a piece of paper, listed their property, didn't do much to get it sold, right? Your value, what would your value be for that client? Are they going to want to pay you more? My answer to this is yes. However, in order to reinforce your perceived value that a client would see, it's important, like even in that scenario, it would be important to keep them apprised of the process. So for example, you're the client. I would say, hey, Jenny, great news. Here's a draft of the listing. Do you have any feedback or response on this prior to us putting it on the market? Value, because you're also then a team member, right? It's like, oh, maybe I'd like to change this or that. And also you're a part of the experience.
Right.
Listing goes live. Hey, Jenny, here is a copy of our listing. We're open and on the market for everybody to view, right? We have an open house scheduled for date and time. We'll let you know the results as soon as. You don't really, what would you perceive from that? If I'm updating you all the time, even if we only did the one open and it got sold right away, you're perceiving that as value. You're in communication.
Yes. I perceive it that you care.
Yes.
Yeah. That
so
that you're reliable, that you know what you're doing.
So these are just some ways to allowing your clients to perceive the value that you bring to them.
Right. Another thing is confidence. So one way you're able to charge more is that you have the confidence that what you're charging is actually what you deserve and what you have earned. And so if I know that I have 20 years backing me up and I have lots of experience through different interactions that I've done, all the market knowledge and the certificates that I've earned and all the accolades that I've earned, then I'm going to be confident in asking for a higher fee because that's what I deserve.
Absolutely.
And that's me investing back into myself, and therefore I'm deserving of the authority and the expertise that I've built into my business.
100%. I don't know about you guys, but would you want somebody negotiating on your behalf that was not confident? I'm going to say no, because how are they going to negotiate the best possible terms, conditions, and price for you? I liked that one. Attracting ideal clients.
Right. Attracting ideal clients. Here's the funny thing. When you are, okay, you take an item and let's just say on Amazon, and it's the same item, but like different brands, different sellers.
Yeah.
But one's like, I don't know, $100, another one is $120, and then another $100 is $40. But you end up wanting to know, why are there different charges, like costs for the same thing? So you end up doing your research. So now how you present that information is so important, on maybe even the way you structure your words, maybe the way you design the layout of how you present yourself. Your headshot even makes a big difference. So when you want to charge a premium, you want to be able to live up by presenting to that higher price point, right? So I would say, for example, if you are a member at the Arbutus Club, then you already have that specific status set in place. So you're going to attract the type of clients that can also afford memberships at the Arbutus Club.
Yeah, that's a perfect way to do that. Marketing and positioning. So how effective, I guess effective marketing and positioning of your personal brand can help you target those higher end clients. Some of those people, like when you start dealing with clients that have done multiple real estate transactions and they're investors and maybe they own different companies and such, their portfolio is different, but they have more significant significant and specific real estate needs, I think, at times. And it can also make it easier to charge a premium with those clients because you would also be bringing that additional skill set, or what is it that I'm trying to say? I guess to their transaction, the knowledge base, the expertise to what their real estate needs require.
I think also when you position yourself at a higher price point, they may already have a larger budget and they may not be as counting the
pennies.
The pennies.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
Right?
Have you, this is an interesting conversation related, but interesting. Have you noticed that in some of those higher price points, people just sign things a lot easier? And if there's like 20, 40K on the table,
yes,
it's like, no, we're still going to do the deal.
Yeah, it's easier to close. They're just like, it doesn't, not that it doesn't matter because we don't want to be
of course
like that. It's
money's
more just,
money.
It's more just, that's how they are, they're decision makers.
Yes.
They look at the bigger picture than just looking
the
at
2,000 or like it's $1,000 difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they look at the bigger picture. Well, what are the opportunity costs for this? What is the risk of this? What am I losing out of this? So they look at the bigger picture rather than counting the pennies.
Yeah. I like that one.
Yeah. Real life success stories. Well, who better to talk than about your own personal clients, right?
Yeah.
If you can successfully bring a story to reality for some of these clients where you've experienced it and you've gotten a client out of a sticky situation, wouldn't you want to share that with other clients to avoid that again? And that may save them thousands of dollars, right? And so that to me, automatically would be like, well, I'm going to work with her because I know she's going to get me out of there, out of this sticky situation, or she's going to keep me safe from getting into a sticky situation. And therefore she's going to be worth the extra cost. Right.
Yeah.
So,
and then we're talking about charging more for services where there's value. What are the tips that we would recommend for increasing if a new or seasoned agent wants to increase their rates?
I would recommend incrementally increasing the rates so that it's super gradual. So if you're, let's say you're charging 7% on the first 100,000, 2.5 on the balance, you want to try to increase it. Maybe you're going from 2.5 to 2.6, from 2.6 to 2.75. And then that way it's kind of raising with the rate of inflation or it's not that big of a difference for many people.
Well, it costs more to market homes now too, right? All of the expenses have gone up as well.
Yeah. And we're using more tools. We're adding more tools into every listing.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So start small, increase incrementally, communicate your worth clearly and concisely. We talked about this earlier. So clients want to know,
what are they getting?
Yeah, what are they getting? Are you going to provide them with premium service? If so, how are you going to do that? Communicate that to the client so that they know specifically when they hire you, your standard level of service and care is such and such. And that's exactly why they should pay you more money to do it, to protect their interests.
second to last is showcasing your success. What you may want to consider is having real clients show how happy they came out of that transaction. So, number one, it's been a successful transaction. And number two, how happy that client is coming out of it. And so that to me is how you can pretty much charge more because, there's going to be good results that will come out of it. And so it's worth the money for that experience.
Mm-hmm. And then finally, continue learning. So staying up to date with industry trends, obviously super important. They've been changing quite a bit. Rules and regulations, and maintaining your knowledge base and expertise. That definitely is going to allow you to, as you gave that example earlier, if you needed to help someone out of a sticky situation or help to the best of your ability ensure that they don't get into a sticky situation, it is very important to stay up with the latest industry trends, rules, and regulations because that stuff changes all the time.
And I have to say as well, a lot of people don't know that we have to continue training ourselves and continue going to courses, and that costs money. So we're investing in ourselves, and therefore the more wealth and wisdom we have, I feel like, it's worth the money to spend.
It's absolutely
right,
worth the money. Absolutely it is.
And so, there we go. There's some tips there to, number one, how to position yourself to boost your average sales commission. And also some of the ways that you can start charging more for your services. So we've seen how you can do this by building trust, differentiating yourself with a unique selling proposition. Ultimately, at the end of the day, just building more confidence and adding this perceived value to the general public so that you would be considered a more valuable asset in their life. Well, thank you everyone for joining our podcast. We really appreciate you tuning in. Again, if you feel like this episode is really helpful, we would love for you to share it with your colleagues, leave a review, give us a 5-star. So your support means so much to us.
Does.
It means the world to us. So stay tuned for more episodes where we can explore more ever evolving events and topics in real estate. Until next time, keep building that personal brand and reaching for the stars in this real estate business. Thanks for tuning in.